That's why I post the levels every day. If you want to take it, take it.
Mm-hmm.
What up? What up?
Mm-hmm.
What's up, everybody? So, last week, if you want to look at Spire QQQ, the weekly candle from last week, we had a really big range, like a big high and low. So this week we opened inside week, which means we're most likely going to be choppy. So as you see, we went up some days and then dropped and went up. So, just knowing that we were inside week, it kind of prepares you to just anticipate what type of price action we're going to get. So, um the fact that we were inside week and then you combine earnings every day and combine the Fed meeting, it just makes things a little bit more tricky. So as you can see, like I'm not gonna swing as much on weeks like this. And especially like I'm in a different situation than a lot of people. I can't be risking money on a week where we're gonna be flying up and down because like I can't be losing money like that. So with that being said, I didn't do too much this week, but the things I did do were pretty successful. Um, with SoFi and PFE, they had earnings on Tuesday. Monday, I was basically gonna just like play the run up on the contracts and sell for profit, but I saw that the contracts weren't really gonna move, so I exited those basically at break even. So that's what happened with that. Monday night, I believe, I posted Nvidia on my watch list. If you want to go scroll up to the watch list and check out what I posted, Nvidia was still on a bear trend and it was below the nine and couldn't break above a certain level. So when it breaks down, you want to take puts. That day, Nvidia broke down and plummeted. So if you looked at the watch list at night or in the morning and you saw Nvidia break down and you took it, you would have made a bag on Nvidia. That was a really nice play. And then, on Thursday calls, we always go over like plays. And I've had Oracle on the watch list for like 3 weeks, and we've been talking about it for a few weeks. And whenever something breaks, it breaks. Like it might take a couple days or whatever, but Oracle wound up breaking down that 137 level and gave you $2 in a straight line. So obviously it ripped back up the next day, but we know that's possible due to earnings. So on a week like this, I suggest like taking most of your profits and like swinging just a little bit because I know a lot of people had swung Nvidia and swung Oracle, but obviously it got clapped the next day. But then it went right back down today. So as you see, the market is very volatile. It's going up and down, up and down. So that's why you got to sell your contracts when you're profitable. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're building a small account. Some people ask me, "Hey, I'm up this much. What should I do?" All I can teach you is how I would manage my account, and you can kind of piggyback off me. So, if you're up nice and you're building a small account, take your wins, build up. Because as you see on a week like this, AMD could have a good earnings report, and then Nvidia rips right back up. So, just learn how to manage your account and take your gains. Wednesday, I called crowd puts. I kind of chilled in the morning and I just sniped an entry on crowd puts. So, like I said, I'm kind of patient on weeks like this. I saw crowd drop hard. So instead of buying puts at the bottom, I waited for it to come up to a resistance level. And then that's when I alerted the puts and crowd dropped $3 right after I alerted it. So I hit like 50%, 60% within like 20 minutes. So that was a really nice trade. And I swung my runners into today. Um, Obviously, I called this crowd drop like a week and a half ago. The news is bad. The stock was gonna go down. Like that's all it's gonna do is go down. So some people have been in crowd because I just said it was gonna go down. So I've seen somebody that's been swinging for like a week, whatever. But as you see, when I make predictions, like most of the time they work out. So um, I'm just trying to push some quality information, and that shit's been tanking. The first PT was 240. If it broke 240, it was gonna go to 228. And as you see, it's like at 220 now. So that stock is broken. It's just gonna keep going down, and I consider that an easy money play. Sometimes things are just easy, and crowd puts are just easy money. You know, so opportunities like that, you want to be able to seize the moment. So, I didn't call it like last week, but I said, fuck it, I'm gonna call it now. So that wound up working good. I swung my runners. It dropped again today, so I posted those gains, and so that was a really nice play. KRE. So the theory behind KRE. So I never look at that stock, that ETF, and those stocks aren't on my watch list. But I said, let me look at it. And I was like, damn, these stocks have been flying and they haven't pulled back. So if you want to go look at WAL or like Zion, ZION, those are some of the regional banks that are the top holdings in KRE. And I was like, this shit gotta come down. So I basically timed the top perfectly. Um, when you're trying to time the top, you might not get it the first 1 or 2 days because they'll try to shake people out, but I just knew it was the top. And as you see, that shit plummeted. I think a couple of you guys sold down like 15, 20%. That's unfortunate, but like I said, just try to follow me. I called things for a reason, and I did put it out a little bit because I knew it could top around a bit. Um, I wish I got us in some shorter ones too, because the shorter dated contracts went stupid. But it is what it is. That shit worked out really good and it paid nice. So yeah, I was just targeting the KRE. If you look at the chart, you could see how it was literally just floating in the air. So in my head, I'm like, okay, this is the next thing to fall. I'm gonna buy puts at the top. And a couple people asked me why I called it, and I said, there's really nothing technical. I think it's time to come down, and that's what happened. So that was really dope. Um, Other than that, I really didn't do much. Like I said, I was being patient this week. Didn't really swing too heavy. Too many events. I ain't trying to get caught up in some crazy shit. Like as you see, Nvidia had a record market cap gain yesterday and then it tanks today. So if we're gonna be moving with volume, just seize the opportunity during the day. Like we're moving like in a big range, so you can kind of just wait till the next day and play a setup. So it's the first of the month. All these big earnings will be done soon, so we
People are
should
fading you.
find a direction in the market. Uh, right now we're pretty bearish, so um, if the Qs break down, I mean we're at a key level 454. If we break that, we're gonna start tanking, but it'll be an opportunity for you guys to load up everybody that missed out. So we're kind of forming a head and shoulders right now on the Qs. So we'll see what's up, see what happens. But that's kind of how my week went. Um, yeah, that's about it. I didn't do too much. Help the people, helped a couple people out on the chat. So when it's slow, or I'm not calling a bunch of trades, just feel free to reach out. I'll help you with your own stuff. But other than that, pretty much it. See what we get tomorrow. I swung my crowd put. Crowd is down almost $4 after hours, so those might hit again. Don't sleep on the ETF levels either, because that should be paying since we're in such a big range. Like last week we dropped 10, today we dropped 10 or 13, so nobody's gonna catch that whole thing. But even if you catch $2, that $2 is like moving within 10, 15 minutes. So you could scalp a move down really easily, like easy money type of stuff. So don't sleep on those levels. Those are always some nice trades. So you were in McDonald's calls today? Let me check.
Yeah, McDonald's did rip. Well, it did go down, but then it ripped back up. But
Yeah, so I
So
mean,
my question was, so like I bought them yesterday and to play the swing, and then this morning I waited the first 5 minute candle, it closed, it was tanking down, and I rode it all the way down to low of day and just said, all right, let me just cut my losses, and then today it just reversed all the way up and plus some. I mean, is there like any technicals to foresee that maybe, or did I just miss some news?
you said you bought them yesterday or you bought them today?
Yes, yesterday before close.
And then you sold them today at the bottom when it dropped?
Yeah, like when it was tanking, like that first 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes the market open. It
Yeah,
was just cutting
so
my losses just to have, money for just, cash account just to have that money back tomorrow just to cut my losses. 'Cause I was probably at like an 80% loss, and I was like, that's enough.
yeah, I mean, just from a technical standpoint, McDonald's didn't have any news or anything, but what happened was, I'll tell you what happened. So McDonald's ripped off the lows, and like we knew McDonald's was at a low. I posted it in the chat like a week ago. So it ripped up, and then it gets to a little bit of a tough level, 268. So when you buy calls at a tough level, the stock might shake and bake a little bit. So it shaked and baked this morning, but overall it was still bullish. So it wound up going up, but it formed a hammer at the previous day's low. So they took McDonald's down to yesterday's low and ripped it back up. So you basically, that's why I tell people sometimes, like, did you miss the move? Because, McDonald's went from 250 basically to 270. So you're basically buying at the top of an uptrend and it might give you a shake and bake. So just be cautious where you're buying options because a situation like that can happen, and it wound up closing with the hammer because it's still bullish. So yeah, if you would have used just the stop loss of like 263, then you probably wouldn't have sold. I know it's hard, especially on a Thursday. You're like, fuck, I'm down so much, but sometimes you got to expect zero. So if you're down 80%, what's the point of salvaging 20%? Now I understand if it's the only play you have and you're like all in, but that's just how you got to think of it. Like I'm down 80%. What's the point of selling it? Like
Yeah.
you
And
know,
then the crowd, when you called the crowd put, dude, I think you got in at like 180 or something. I
what?
was I was trying to get a
Yeah.
buy order at 179, and it never
hmm
filled, and it just took off, and I was like, son of a bitch, I missed it, man. And it was like what 250%, 300% gain.
Nah, it hit like 55% yesterday, and then today it hit like 120%. So I made an extra what 70% today.
Yeah. I
But
was like, fuck, 'cause I was trying to jump. You got in 180. I was trying to get in like 179 or something, and it was just like running away from me after I kept replacing my orders.
well, like this is the thing. If I ever say I'm in this now, like a direct signal, that means I'm anticipating it to move for at least 20, 30 minutes. So with that
Yeah.
being said, if you need a slap to ask and get in right away, just get in right away because if you would have been like, oh shit, he's in crowd push right now, I want to get in, I'm gonna slap the ask, you would have got in and then you would have made money. So
Yeah.
slap the
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah. I see that now. Cause like I think there was a spread still at that point, like a 5 cent spread maybe, and then it
Yeah.
just tightened up and just ran off.
Yeah, so that's just my suggestion going forward. If you do need to get in something, I mean, slap the ask. So, yeah.
10 fault.
hmm But yeah, that was a fire entry. I'm pretty good with my day trade entries. That was a really nice drop after we got in. And then like the IV was ripping on the contract. So I'll look at the IV. Like a lot of times I get in and it was at like 67 and it wound up going to like 74. So like the contracts were increasing in price when the stock wasn't even moving for like a minute. So that's always cool to see. Consider locking in that those gains soon, bro. I don't know how much you got in your account. If you got like thousands and thousands, you probably don't care. But if you got less than like 10K in your account, you should take that band on McDonald's. You know, even though you have time, like remember stocks go up and down. So if it goes up and down for 3 days, you're not gonna be up 1,000 no more. So you know, sometimes we do have targets and levels, and we want to try our best to hold to that level, but you might have a couple up and down days till it gets there, you know. So, um,
And the time's decaying too, so it needs to make a bigger move if it doesn't soon yet. You know.
but I mean, yeah, like there's no signal to sell yet, so like don't sell like first thing tomorrow. I mean, you have a fat weekly candle. I mean, this shit went perfectly. I mean, McDonald's calls. I charted this for somebody. I'm like, yup. Like, if you go put your 50, 100, 200 MAs on McDonald's and go look at the daily, weekly, monthly, you'll see that McDonald's bounces there all the time. So when you combine the moving average with the formation on the daily chart, it has like a triple bottom on the daily chart. It basically has an inverse head and shoulders. And then you take the breakout of McDonald's and you make money. So that was a really nice setup on McDonald's. Good shit on that. With the futures, tomorrow might be ugly.
We're right there at a daily level, just edging it.
A couple of you guys like asked me questions this week. A couple people DM me and asked me or wrote me in the chat, and I said hit me up on voice. So right now is a good time to re-ask your question if you happen to have them. And you might be muted, so um
What's Gamma Fridays, PK Flight? Like as in Gamma Squeeze?
Hey, Option King. Dolo here. Hey, what's a cover call?
a covered call is when you own 100 shares of a stock and you sell a call. So you're basically collecting premium. And just say you have 100 shares of Apple at 100, like the stock's at 100, and you sell the 100 call. If the stock price is above the strike price that you sold it for, it sells you shares. So a covered call is basically collecting premium. So instead of putting out money and buying a call, you collect premium and you're selling a call against your 100 shares. So it's a way to basically collect money, but you got to know what you're doing, because if you want to keep your shares, then you got to be selling a call at a high, because if you sell a call while a stock is ripping, you're probably going to lose your shares. So it's a covered call.
Okay, appreciate it.
hmm You want to sell calls at highs and sell puts at lows.
And a cover call is different from what we've been doing with these contracts.
We do naked calls.
Naked.
Mm.
Okay,
Yeah, we
gotcha.
never ever do covered calls.
Yeah.
Now I just remember somebody at work was trying to explain it to me, and I couldn't understand what he was how he was explaining it. So I just Had a question for the group. That was all. I was like, I'm
So,
gonna ask Option King later.
so the
Not that
easiest way
I'm.
to put it, and correct me if I'm wrong, OptionsKing. So basically, every time we buy a premium, we pay that to somebody, and
Hmm.
that somebody sold us that covered call. Is that correct?
So we
Yes.
just on the other side.
Yes.
Yes.
All
And
right.
covered calls they're good because most of the time people don't execute an option because they don't have money to buy 100 shares of anything. But with cover calls, your gains are limited. But however, they're almost certainly always almost guaranteed. So, but you can never make more than 100% on a cover call.
So I'll give you an example of a scenario where you do a cover call. So when AMC went from 5 to 70, my friend had hundreds of shares, and I said, "Yo, sell a call." So the premium is what you pay for a contract, and when the implied volatility, the IV, is high on a contract, the premiums are elevated. So obviously, the premiums on AMC at that point were like 400, 500%, meaning the premiums were really high. So I was like, yo, sell calls. It's the top. And that was the top of AMC. So if he would have sold like 4 calls, each call cost like $400 to $600. So he would have collected like $500 or $600 for each call. And he never did it, but that would have been free money. It was like a free 1,500, 2,000 bucks for a 1 week sell call. And as long as AMC didn't go up, he would have kept the shares, and he didn't listen to me. But you got to be strategic when you sell calls and sell puts, but it's basically guaranteed money. So
The shares to do it. So,
You own the shares though, right?
you
hmm
have to own the shares to
You have
sell a
to
put.
own the shares. Okay, got it.
For selling a put, it's called a cash secured put. So you got to put up cash. So if you have thousands of dollars of buying power, you could sell a put and you collect premium as well. But if the stock is below the strike price that you chose at expiration date, then you gotta buy the shares. So you put up the money to buy the shares, and they'll take that money if it executes. So you only sell puts on stocks that you would want to own, because if you sold a put on a garbage stock like Crowd at 300 and your strike price is 290, and then at expiration date the Crowd is at 200, you just it's just horrible situation. So because then you got to buy Crowd shares at 290 and the stock's at 200. So you just got to be careful when you're doing those type of options trading.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Hey, can I get that explanation of the levels that I asked you about earlier?
Yeah. Can you just ask me one more time?
Uh, what did I ask? I think I said about the levels. Like, do you wait? Cause I see it's like a high and a low. Um, if it hits the high, do you like? I would say buy calls if it hits the high, and puts if it hits the low.
Okay, so that's why I told you to ask me on voice, because it's a little bit deeper than that, because I don't want people just buying like right away. But I'll give you a few examples of like what you would do in certain scenarios. So when it comes to trading the ETFs, you want to know like overall, are we bullish or bearish? Because that'll help you make a decision. And then you want to see what the most important stocks are doing, right? So like if you're playing the Qs, you want to look at Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft, those type of stocks. So when we were pushing lower today, Nvidia was really green and then just went red, and all those important stocks went red. So once you see a flush, like a volume candle, I talk about this a lot. I'm about to post it in the chat. Um, so those first 3 candles were all red, and then that one candle that's in the middle of that purple line, I call that a volume candle. It's a bearish engulfing candle. So when we see something like that, we're like, damn, we're breaking down with volume. So you can hop in puts in a scenario like that. Now, if something is just barely breaking or like just flirting with it, you probably don't want to take it. You want to wait. But with that being said, I usually get in right away. Like I don't wait. But I tell people don't trade the ETFs if you don't know what you're doing, because over a whole month you're gonna lose money. You're not gonna make money. Um, but if you ever see me posting about it, it's gonna keep dropping. I hate repeating myself, but we always have new people, so that's why I got to. But as you see, even the days when the Qs are down 2 or 3, and I say we broke down, it goes down $3 more, $4 more. When I posted IWM today, I knew IWM was really bearish because we played KRE, and those are kind of correlated. So if you go look at when I posted IWM today, it kept dropping. So feel free, if you ever see Options King post, we're breaking down, hop in some puts. And if it winds up ripping once you buy, then talk shit to me. But other than that, we most like we usually, like, I just go off statistics, we usually keep flushing or keep ripping when we break a certain level, because we got to think about it, like this is pre-market price action for hours. So if these hours of levels break, then buyers are going to keep buying and sellers are going to keep selling. So um yeah, I usually get in right away, but I'm not oblivious to everything else that's happening. I'm looking at the overall market too and stuff like that. So, yeah. And I know you guys ask me questions like that too, like Nvidia. Like if I'm taking trades on regular stocks, I don't wait. Like I don't wait because it just be flushing. So like crowd, if you took crowd below yesterday's low today, it flushed and then it ripped back up. You buy more, puts at the 9. The level was 228. It dropped, went back to the 9 and 228 and dropped. So you can just wait for retest. Somebody asked me about crowd puts today at the bottom. You don't buy crowd puts after it already triggered, because you buy puts at the bottom, it rips up and you're fucking pissed. But then it goes to the 9 and rejects. So, you know, if something already flushed huge, like, just be patient. What happened the other day? Somebody bought Nvidia puts, right? But I was like, it's still bearish. It's okay, hold, and it wound up dropping more. So that's the situation new traders will get themselves in. They'll buy something when it already flushed $2 to $3, and then they get caught in that retracement and they panic and they sell for a loss. But that's why you got me. I'll help you stay in your trade, because I know that it's just gonna bear flag into the 9 and drop more. So somebody hit me in the chat about Nvidia the other day because they kind of bought after it broke down, but I kept them in instead of selling for a loss. They wound up making money. So um, be aware of a stock's ATR. Some stocks move a lot, some stocks don't. Nvidia can go down 8 and rip back up 8. Oracle, if Oracle drops $2 after already dropping 2 from the top, do you want to buy Oracle puts if the trigger was 137 and it's at 135 now? You gotta weigh the risk reward. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things to learn. It might sound a little confusing, but we do the same thing every time. So once you guys lock in, it should be like, looking at the back of your hands. But
Already appreciate it.
yes, sir,
All right. Can you hear me?
I can.
Uh, so my question is similar to his question. Sometimes you post some levels in the chat, and they trigger on a different day, right? Um, how do you go about triggers on the first few minutes of the market, like 5 minutes, and you trigger one of the stocks or ETFs? Do you go right in, knowing that it's like the first few minutes it's very volatile? How do you go about that? I think I've got in some situations where I buy it, and then what you're paying for is not for the price of the option. It's just the confluence of people coming in, and then as soon as you pay for it, it shows you the real price, which is not what it was showing you initially. So how do you go about that?
Well, obviously in the morning, like, I don't trade the open often. Sometimes you have to because just if we're watching something, if I post something, I already know what's gonna happen once it triggers. That's why I be getting in right away. But that's why if you are trading by yourself, you might want to wait a little bit to get a clear direction of the market because shit can be volatile. Like sometimes I'll go to post something and I'm like, I'm not gonna post it. Like the other day I was gonna post Google and I was like, damn, Google looks good below here. And the pre-market price would be something else, and then at open it just rips. So that's why the market will show you where it's going after like 15 to 30 minutes. So, you could be patient if you want, but if it's my trade, if I write Nvidia looks bearish, it's been rejecting, puts below here, you have my permission to get in right away. Um, I don't recall many times like that I say something and give you a level and then the complete opposite happens. Like most of the time it works out great. So that's why I just get in things right away. And when I'm analyzing these charts, like I'm looking at it from a perspective to where today is the day that when it breaks this level, it's going to drop. Like I'm not like, oh, this looks kind of good. It might happen. No, when I'm looking at stuff, I did all my analysis and it's supposed to break, you know? And when it breaks, it's gonna drop. So Oracle, we've been watching that for a while. When it broke, it dropped. So I don't know if I answered your question, but um yeah, patience. You can wait a little bit unless it's something that I give you, you can take it right away.
Yeah, it makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. So like Microsoft was ripping this morning. I mean, if you swung calls, you made a bag, but if you didn't sell, like Microsoft reversed all the way down. So I mean, it's not Microsoft's fault. Like the whole market got sold, but you just got to be careful. No, I'm not buying any Nvidia here. I'm waiting till it drops below 100.
Hey, Option King, on that screenshot you sent or you posted in the chat of QQQ, you mentioned a volume candle. Which candle was that? I didn't catch that.
The candle that is breaking the purple line, the fat red candle, the bearish engulfing that's, in between the line. You see that one?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So that's what I consider a volume candle. So these are 10-minute candles. So if you have 10 minutes of selling or buying through a line, through a level, it's most likely gonna keep going that way because if something is breaking out on a daily chart or breaking down with volume, that means price is going that way. You'll hardly see a 10-minute chart breaking down like that and then instantly ripping back up. Like hardly ever. So, as you see, you had that fat red candle and then the little doji that stayed below the nine and below the level and then another fat one and then a gravestone doji, then another fat one. Like we were dropping with volume all day. We were below the nine, below pre-market lows, and I mean the candlesticks were telling you everything you needed to know. So when I'm talking
Gotcha.
about volume, that's what I mean. Fat volume candles.
Okay. So if it goes to, if there's like a fat candle in either direction of like breaking a level, that's like just a good indication of that it's breaking down or breaking out.
I'll show you a bullish example from today. So Coca-Cola and Pepsi, like more than 80% of the time go up when the market is going down. So, Coca-Cola's been going up like every day. And this is just a chart of Coca-Cola. If you played pre-market highs and your strategy was if it's above the nine is bullish and you've seen these candles, you would have been like, Coca-Cola's bullish. I'm gonna grab some calls. And you can see that around 1040 when the Q started really dumping. That's when they started buying Coca-Cola, and you could see that fat green candle, and then it kept going. Fat green candles. If you would have bought at any of those fat green candles because it was breaking pre-market highs, because it was above the nine, because it had bullish candles, it kept running. Volume candles, and it never looked back. So that's an example of, a bullish volume breakout, you know?
Gotcha.
hmm Like AMD is just horrible. Like 134, I feel like I say this all the time. 153 now is back at a low. This stock is broken. Wow. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I haven't caught an AMD drop in a while, but those AMD puts went stupid today. This is a chart of IWM. I mean, every bear chart is gonna look the same today, but you could just see how it was pushing down with fat 10-minute candles. Um, so IWM puts went stupid. Nice breakdown with volume. So yeah, with that being said, like don't sleep on the ETFs, especially when we're moving a lot. I said this last week, but you don't have to really spend too much on the ETFs. Like you could buy a contract for like 150 bucks, 200 and make 50% like in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So
Yeah, Options King. Can I ask this question? I posted it in the chat as well. On a day like today, it was pretty clear that the trend was bearish and it was going to stick around all day. But how do you anticipate that? So I've been taking these like 20-30% gains and not holding a runner because maybe it'll hit not even break even, like 2% loss, so I'll sell them clearly too early. So how do you help manage that?
okay, so obviously, let me pull which one you want me to pull up, Google or JP Morgan?
Either one's fine. Even the Qs, I jumped in that literally at the top, but I sold those pretty quick as well. So yeah, but I was in
All right.
Google and JPM.
All right, I'll give it to you like this. So nobody can ever, and we could look back and be like, "Damn, we should have held the whole time." But nobody can anticipate that. But what you can do is know what's possible, right? So on Thursdays, contracts are really volatile, and they have a wide percentage range they can move. So it's all about psychology in your head. You're like, okay, this is a bear trend. Options King said it's bearish. Yeah, I made 40%, but this contract can go way more than 40%. This contract can go to 150%, just like it did. So whenever something is going in your direction, you kind of gotta stick with the direction, or at least leave a runner. That's why I always say to leave a runner, because even if you just leave one or two, those are gonna hit so hard. So if you're buying multiple contracts and it's going your way, like you have to just write it down in your notes, or it's just something you gotta do. You just have to do it. Like, and if you incorporate that into your strategy, if you go over all your trades for a week and say, if I left a runner on this, would I have made more money? At least for me, most of the time it's yes. So that's why I try to implement it in my strategy. So it's kind of just back testing. If I would have held, would I have made money? If it's yes more than 80% of the time, then you just have to do it. You just leave runners. You just do it. And if they go back to break even or 10%, minus 10%, or if it goes back above a level, you can sell. But other than that, just don't sell because you know we think 40% is good, and it is good on a certain day or a certain type of trade, but 40% can turn into 150%. So it's all about like psychology. Obviously, the trend was down on the chart, so I know you're pretty busy, but if you're staring at the chart, it told you to hold. But it's really psychology. If something is going your way, why sell all of your contracts? It just doesn't make sense. So just try to hold strong. You know, leave runners, leave runners. Like crowd hit 50%, but then I made an extra 70% today. So yeah, just leave runners. It can make you so much more money, so much more. Sometimes it won't work out, sometimes, but a lot of the times it will.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I've tried to leave runners, but I still kind of stare at the chart more than I should. Like you said, I am busy, so I've tried to put in stop limit orders, like for when I have to run and see a patient or something like that. My stop limit orders don't always take, so I don't know if you've ever done that, and is it maybe the brokerage I'm using that I probably should consider switching?
So when you say stop limit order, like for if it goes down and you want to exit, or if it's going like you're making more money and you want to sell for more profit.
If I leave like say I have 5 contracts and I leave one, but I want to make sure that sells for at least break even. So I
Okay.
put that in if it goes down, but sometimes they don't take. I don't know if it's because the market just moves so fast and they don't
Nah,
fill, or
that's sketchy. I mean, if you put it in and it hits, it's supposed to execute. If it's not executing, like that's sketchy. So I would
hmm,
check on that.
okay. I'm in Robinhood. I don't know if anyone else has tried it, but it
I
has
have.
not always worked well for me.
And
That's the reason why I switched over to Thinkorswim, because you're allowed to put in a stop loss and on both sides. So if you it goes in your direction, you can put in a limit to sell, and it'll automatically cancel your stop loss limit on the other side.
Hmm,
So that's why I
okay.
switched from Robinhood. So I feel you on that one. I didn't mean to cut you off, Option King.
very good. And one thing that I noticed what you said is I keep staring at the chart. I've told you guys this a lot. A lot of times I get in something and I'll stop looking at it. Like you gotta have conviction in what you're getting in. So if you got in those plays and you walked away for 30 minutes, you would have made more money. But when we're staring at things, we're gonna get shaken out. Like because you're staring at it. But that's why you gotta just buy at a level that's a good level where it's supposed to move your way for 20 minutes. You buy it and let it do its thing. If it completely reverses, you just got in at a horrible area. But most of the time I get in things, I'm not staring at it because you guys know I don't call scalps. I don't ever call a play and 5 minutes later I'm like, okay, sell it all. I'm getting in something and it's moving for at least 10 minutes. But most of the time, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. So that's why I'll get in something and I let it work. I let it do its thing. Sometimes we'll sell too quick if we're staring at it. So that's some of my advice I can give you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Your Option King. I had a question for you. Um, what would you say would be a good percent to shoot for weekly, like um, as far as the increase on your portfolio?
It depends how much money you have in your account because if somebody has 50,000, then 10% a week is gonna be amazing. But 10% in a week for somebody that has
Like a
like
small account,
you know what
like
I'm
a small
saying?
account.
Yeah. So that's a hard question to answer because it really depends how much you have. Like if somebody has 100 and makes 300, then they're gonna be up huge. So
Mhm.
I can't answer that question. It's kind of
It's relative. Like,
yeah, it's a hard question to answer. Now, if you start with 1,000 on Monday, I mean, even if you just make 500, that's amazing. Like your whole account's up 50%. But it's so easy. And I don't want to say it's easy, but if you start with 1,000 on Monday, between day trading and swinging, you should be able to make $1,000. So, I mean, that's 100%. So, it's. I feel like everybody should have like a daily goal or at least a weekly goal. I think a weekly goal is a little more important, like a dollar figure.
no,
So
I'm doing the weekly goal. That's why I asked.
yeah, a, a weekly goal is better because sometimes people get caught up in the day to day, and maybe one day you might not find a good play, or maybe one day you won't trade, and then the next day you find two good trades. So yeah, I usually look at how I did at the end of the week. You know.
Appreciate it.
hmm
So, quick question. Are there any benefits to having a cash account versus like a margin account, or is one like preferable than the other?
With a cash account, like you're limited to how many trades you can do in a day. So like say you have $1,000, you could do three trades with basically 300 a piece, but after that you can't trade for the rest of the day. Now, if you have a margin account and you have $1,000, well, you're still, you can only do 3-day trades in a 5-day period, but you're not restricted because you people don't know how to do them. But if you run out of day trades, you have all of the options settings available to you. Last can do spreads. With a margin account, you can. So it's beneficial for when you run out of spread and day trade it the next day. Um, those are the main differences. There's not a lot of differences, but obviously, with a cash account, you're limited to the buying power that you have in your account. So if you have 1,000, then you could do two trades with 500 apiece, and then you're done for the day. Um, with a margin account, I could day trade all day if I wanted to. So there's pluses and minuses. I personally prefer a margin account. When I had a cash account, I would be pissed if like there was a day I saw something and I'm like, fuck, I can't trade no more. Like what the hell? Because I was out of my buying power for the day. So I would be pissed if I was caught in a situation like that. But I mean, those are just basically the main differences. Cash account, you're limited to how many times you can trade. Then a margin account, I could day trade all day because I can do spreads. And if you have 25,000 in your account, you have an unlimited day trade. So, but yeah.
Copy. Okay. Thank you.
Now, if you don't know how to do spreads, cash accounts are good because you could day trade. Can you can somebody correct me if I'm wrong? If you have a cash account, are you still limited to 3-day trades in 5 days?
No, cash accounts.
Or no, you're
No,
not.
it's just the
Yeah.
settled funds that you
Okay.
have. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you don't know how to do spreads and you love day trading, a cash account's probably better for you because you could day trade every day. You know.
On one of them, you're not allowed to do zero expiration contracts.
You can do whatever you want.
No, you can do 0 days on any type of account. You just have to have the settings turned on.
Okay. Yeah, what the hell is Robinhood talking about?
You probably don't have like level 2 or whatever it is. So you just need to say, "Oh yeah, I'm super
Yeah, you may just need to
experienced."
change your settings. That happened to me as well, but it's somewhere in there, the account settings to change it.
Yeah, they ask you a bunch
Yeah,
of
go to the option
questions.
settings and turn on same day trading.
Gotcha. I probably struck out with them.
Mm.
I don't remember. I ain't used it in a while.
Did anybody want Andy to touch on futures? What else happened this week? Yo, this market is just crazy. Wow.
Yeah, we're still there. 880. We're there when last time I bought it.
We could potentially open down over 1%. I'm pretty sure that's gonna happen. Probably gonna crater tomorrow.
Yeah, we're flagging really hard. It's not. I don't know. They're dragging the shit out. Wait, did Amazon and Intel and Apple all report earnings, or is it tomorrow before pre-market?
They reported already.
Oh, okay. Was it good? Probably not.
No.
Okay. Yeah. See, I don't know why I'm not seeing a big reaction then. Was it like mid? Or what's going on?
Well, Amazon is down 7%, $12.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Apple is flat.
Okay.
Intel is just getting destroyed. It's at like new 20-year lows. Oh, it's down 20%, $5.
20-year lows is
Stock is ass.
20-year lows is crazy.
Imagine working at a company for 20 years and the stock never went up. It's so embarrassing. They're suspending the dividend.
Oh no!
They're laying off 15% of their workers. The guidance was horrible. It's just a bad stock to own.
Shit. Okay. Okay, I guess I'm building an AMD build next time I upgrade my computer.
Yeah, Intel is in trouble, and they have the support of our government because it's a long-time American company, and the government just hands them billions of dollars, and it's just not doing anything.
Crazy.
That's called a value trap. People will buy a stock like this because it's cheap,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just gets cheaper.
Damn. All right. I'll get ready to go short tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was expecting earnings to be really good, and we pump up again, like with AMD a couple of days ago. So it is what it is.
You never really know.
Yeah, I don't have a bias. I just trade the direction.
Damn, I wish I was looking at Tesla today. Tesla got clapped. Triggered at 227, fucking dropped $13. That's how they started out the month. Tesla, yeah, you see that level, they gapped it down to that level, fake pump, bear flag into the 9, it basically rejected 235, it rejected the gap fill, so yeah, Tesla puts look good. The only thing is you got the weekly 9 here. So like on an overall trend, it's still up, but if it breaks and holds below 213, it's gonna tank back down, most likely to 200. So you definitely watch Tesla. I mean, looking at the daily chart, you can actually see it has a lot more room to the downside. It looks pretty scary. I mean, it held right here at 214 because if you look to the left, that was like one of the gap ups, like that first gap up day. So once it does breaks and holds below 213, it's gonna most likely plummet. So you can watch that. It's a nice bear flag setup. Japan's Nikkei plunges 4%. Moderna went down 20% today. But yeah, that's about it, guys. See what happens tomorrow. Probably hop in a day trade, swinging those crowd puts. But anybody else got any questions?
Yeah, I have one more question for you. What's the best way for like determining the position sizing, like on a small account?
What do you consider small?
Like a 2000, like a 2000 small account.
A day trade or a swing trade?
Either one.
So
Like,
if I was day trading and I had 2,000 in my account and I was like really confident in the play, like 90% sure it was gonna go down, I'd put like 500 or 600 in that trade, make 100%. Now my account's up like 50%. So um for swing trading, basically the same thing. If I had 2,000 and I was really confident in the play, like I wasn't second guessing myself or anything, I was pretty sure it was gonna work out. Put in 600, make 100%, counts up 50% now. So you never want to go too heavy if you're not confident in it, but if you're confident in your setup that it's gonna work out, 600 pretty good. Most plays you could buy a couple contracts with that. If it's a really cheap one, you could buy a ton of contracts. So um yeah.
all right, gotcha. Appreciate it.
Now if it was me and I had 2,000 like crowd yesterday, if I had 2,000 in my account, I would have put 1,000 right there because like overall the stock is bearish and it was bear flagging basically at the 9. So like I know it's gonna drop. So obviously the more you put in, the more dollar amount you'll make. But if you don't know what you're doing and taking your own plays, you don't want to go too heavy because then you're gonna get flat probably. So always be smart.
All right, appreciate it.
Damn, you must have bought that Tesla put early. See, he bought a Tesla put for $100 and made 500 off of 100. That's some good shit right there. You're really good at holding, bro. You be holding with me. That's a bag. Damn, I wish I would have hit some shit like that. It's a play. 200 would have made you a Iraqi. days like today, a little bit goes a long way. That's why you want to like try your best to be able to capture days like today, because you do not need a lot of money to make a lot at all. I'm bearish on AMD. I've been bearish on AMD for months, and then just the reaction after earnings tells you everything you need to know about the stock. Like it ripped up and it went right back down. The stock is broken. Key levels 140. If it stays below 140, it's going back down. AMD can go back down to 118. You could use 140 as like your big overall level, and just know that if AMD is below 140, it's gonna keep going down. 140 and 135. If it stays below both of those, it's gonna tank. You'll see 118 within 2 weeks. Anybody got anything else for me? Don't forget you can hop in the plays if you miss out or if you wind up selling. I saw somebody hopped in KRE today when they hopped out the other day, and he made 100%.
I got a question.
What's up?
As far as in averaging down, is there a certain level or strategy you use to average down, or just whatever you initially start with? Is that what you're riding with?
So like I'm pretty good, but there are a few things I can get better at, and averaging down is one of them. The only reason why like I don't average down often is because like in my head, if it's not going my way, then I don't want to average down into a loser. But most of my plays you can average down on. Like it works out almost all the time. So I'm gonna start doing it. But I'll show you KRE and how we could have averaged down.
Yeah,
And
that's what I was hinting at, because I know as of yesterday it went up to like 58, 80 something, and then if we would have averaged down, it would have paid out bigger for when we secured our profits.
oh, for sure.
So that's why I was wondering.
Like, so when it was ripping, it wound up ripping at like 3, and then it actually closed towards the lower end. So while it's ripping, you're probably not going to average down because it looks like it's going to break out. But then, it came back down. But, if you see that chart, it came up to that 59.5 level, which was the high for like Thursday, Friday, Monday, or Thursday and Friday of last week, whatever. So if you are going to average down, that's going to be the level. So, you might not catch it perfectly, but if our bias on KRE is to the downside over the next 2 weeks, and we know it's the top, then it's safe to average down in a situation like this, because we're not selling for 30% loss, 40% loss. It doesn't pay to sell. So if you're confident in your trade, you can average down at the weekly high and you hold unless that breaks out. So yeah, that was a good example. I was thinking about it. I was gonna add some weeklies too, and that was a good example of averaging down right there. So as long as it's like still within the daily range, then or the week. If the chart tells you can average down, average down. You know what I'm saying? But don't average down on something that's short dated, like 0 date contracts, or if you buy something today and it expires tomorrow. You got to be careful with situations like that because you could just dig yourself a deeper hole. You want to be strategic about it, you know. But like ExxonMobil, like last Friday, Thursday, yes, last Thursday I called ExxonMobil and it opened red. If we would have averaged down, I mean, we would have made a ton of money. So, you know, most of the time it works out. I do need to get better with that.
Thank you.
hmm If you ever want to, like, write me in the chat too about averaging down, like if I call a play, feel free. I'll give you my opinion on it. That would have been fire though. The contracts went down to like 85 cents. That would have been real good.
Yeah, do we have any news tomorrow?
We got an unemployment report, some shit like that.
We got CPI. Wait, CPI. Oh, wait, no, that's the different. Never mind. Doesn't matter.
Don't scare me.
Nah, it's like fuck. I need to filter out the currency or whatever. CHF CPI. I don't know what currency that is. It's probably CHF currency. Oh, Swiss franc. So French CPI. Doesn't matter. Yeah, we just have unemployment. That's it.
Apple might be a good trade tomorrow since it's kind of flat. It might choose a direction. Maybe we can hop in an Apple trade.
Mm-hmm. I'm down to hop on call in the morning, live trade. Some ETFs.
Cool.
I'm down Friday.
I'm with it.
Yeah. Cause I'm just curious as to what's gonna happen. We're right there. We are so close. We're literally there.
What, to breaking down?
Like, yeah, we're like 50 points away on NQ and $1 or $2 away, right? Wait, what did you say? 454?
Yeah, basically. Damn, Japan is down 5%. Wow, that's ugly.
Yeah.
What number is the S&P at?
After hours. Oh wait, let me extend. After hours is at 541.
No, like the whole thing.
Oh, SPX.
Yeah. Like live data.
It doesn't show live, but right, it closed at 5,446. It doesn't trade after hours.
Well, what's the future?
Oh, ES. Oh, okay, yeah, it's at 5,458.
Where?
Yeah.
5,458.
Yeah.
Let me chart SPX real quick.
Yeah. I can chart ES. These are old levels.
Ooh. Alright, if 5,400 breaks, we're gonna tank. So keep an eye on that.
Yeah, pretty much really close to that number on ES. Yeah, like 54. Yeah, 54.30, 54.20, practically 5,400. We're gonna dump.
Yeah, if it's 5,400, like if we break that, we're gonna plummet.
Yeah, we. Oh my god, that is a big support. Yeah. Yeah, we filled the gap today, and then we're right there. Yeah, there's literally no support after to like 53.50, so it could be like a huge drop, but I wouldn't even consider this support, to be honest. So yeah, could be bloody tomorrow. I'll be up and early. I'll see how the other sessions take it. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it. I won't go to sleep till like 1. So. But yeah, we're so close. We're just in. I have like this little trend line, and then we're just in that wedge. You know, like squeezing in. So.
Yeah, they're gonna wait like an hour or two and dump
Yeah.
it.
I'll be ready. I'll go in light. 8 cons maybe.
Get your cell ready.
Yup. You know I'm ready. Yeah.
Anybody else need to chop it up about anything? Or y'all good?
Mm-hmm. I guess everyone's good.
Cool beans. Well, good talking to y'all. Have a good night. See y'all tomorrow.
Yup. Talk to y'all later. I'll be live streaming futures in the morning, so if you want to join, come through.
Thank you.
Later.